What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So we got a short one here, just bringing you this quick update. Now, we got an article here on it, but we'll listen to the BBC's report on it as it broke a few moments ago. And then we'll go over the article after that.
Breaking news to bring you from the Court of Session in Edinburgh. We are hearing that an application for an order that Boris Johnson must ask for a Brexit extension or face action for contempt of court has been refused at the Court of Session. We're just waiting for our reporter to come out and speak to us. But just to remind you of the background to this, there have been various court actions, of course, trying to clarify the government's position and force certain action over Brexit. And this one was an application to the Court of Session by a businessman, Vince Dale, and the SNP MP Joanna Cherry and Julian Maughan QC, and what they wanted to do was to create an order to force Boris Johnson to send a letter to the EU, as has been made legal, has been made the law under the Benn Act, which went through Parliament. Basically, if there is no deal, Boris Johnson must seek an extension to Article 50 and delay Brexit. The government has said previously that it will obey the law, but there are concerns from some about whether the government would try to somehow circumvent it, and with Boris Johnson still saying that this country will certainly leave the EU on the 31st of October. So this legal action was an attempt to force Boris Johnson to send the letter and to stop him from frustrating the Act's purpose. The QC, representing the campaigners behind the legal action, were claiming his previous statements went against what he has said to the court through various documents. He referred to promises made by the Prime Minister that he would rather be dead in a ditch than send a letter requesting an extension, and that the UK will leave on the 31st of October, do or die. So what they wanted to happen was for Boris Johnson to be banned from asking EU member states to deny the letter's request or send an additional letter which contradicts it. Well, as we understand it, they have lost that case at the Court of Session. We will be speaking to our correspondent who's been inside shortly for the very latest detail.
So there you see it. The BBC have got the rundown. They even give you a little background on it. The host does not seem very happy that this court case has lost. And look at the protesters. There's loads of them. Oh, so many protesters. Or what, 4 or 5 of them? Really? That's how many support us staying in the EU in Scotland, yeah? In a Remain stronghold? That's all that can be bothered to turn up. That's terrible. It shows the support these Remoaners actually have. Now let's check out the article. It says Brexit latest news. Boost for Boris Johnson as Court of Session refuses to set out sanction if he defies the Benn Act. Meaning, they've refused to tell these Remoaners that they're going to put him in prison if he doesn't adhere to the Benn Act. Scottish courts rule it would not be necessary or appropriate to force the government to ask for a Brexit delay. Boris Johnson attempts to take Britain out of the European Union today, as Scottish courts rule that there is no doubt that the Prime Minister accepts he must ask for an extension in the case of no deal. The Court of Session ruled it would be neither necessary nor appropriate to force the government to ask for a Brexit delay. The campaigners have said they will now appeal the result at the inner house of the Court of Session tomorrow. Joe Morgan, one of those bringing the action, has said there are now risks of an unlawful Brexit that would not have otherwise existed. It comes as Mr Johnson prepares to launch his own legal battle in the Supreme Court. Sources claim he is willing to mount a legal effort to avoid having to write a letter asking for a delay to Brexit. It raises the possibility that Mr Johnson could give evidence in such a court case in an attempt to persuade judges in person against forcing him to ask the EU for a delay. However, Mr Johnson will first try to salvage his proposed deal by phoning EU leaders today. Emmanuel Macron yesterday told the PM he has until the end of the week to find a way out of the logjam with EU negotiators. So there you see it, the Scottish Court of Session have actually sided with Boris in this one, which is kind of shocking. But they are going to repeal it tomorrow, and if the inner Court of Session decides against them, they probably will go to the Supreme Court. these are Remoaners after all. So we might end up with the same shit show going on next week that we had going on the other week in regards to the prorogation case. So be prepared for that, everyone. But I'm going to end the video there. Like I said, this was just a very short one to bring you this. I want to thank the channel's PayPal, Patreon and Subscribe Star members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
This Parliament is a dead Parliament. It should no longer sit. It has no moral right to sit on these green benches. They don't like the truth. Twice they have been asked to let the electorate decide upon whether they should continue to sit in their seats, while they block 17.4 million people's votes. This Parliament is a disgrace, but they're too cowardly to give it a go. But the time is coming. The time is coming, Mr. Speaker, when even these turkeys won't be able to prevent Christmas.